Welcome. I'm Erin Ryan. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to be sharing with everybody 5 steps to stop freaking out. But I'm also going to share with you what these 5 steps have to do with a rainbow dragon. So let me start at the beginning. This was probably, I want to say a couple weeks ago now, when I woke up and I had this big knot in my stomach. And I also had like this head that was swimming. So it was pretty much vertigo, like right on the edge of just like really lightheaded and having vertigo. So I immediately was alarmed at this because it was very intense, but I really did not feel like this was a physical thing. I felt like it was more of an energetic thing. So in other words, I didn't believe it was something that I ate bad. I didn't believe that there was something else like more severe going on, but I did have an extreme reaction. So I needed to take care of it right away and really look at like, what is going on here? So I realized that the night before, I had some pretty major shifts in my life. I changed my prices on my web. While was definitely overdue and needed to happen, it's uncomfortable, right? Sometimes it's uncomfortable to acknowledge your own value and to ask for money to match that value. I had committed to doing live distance Reiki sessions for people in my Facebook group called Distance Energy Healing for You in the World. So I don't know if you guys know this, but people's number one fear is not usually death, it's public speaking. So there's a lot of fear around public speaking. And for me, committing to do that was a big leap. And then on top of that, I actually had a leak in my ceiling in my bathroom closet. I'm in a condo. My upstairs AC unit was malfunctioning, and so was pooling all of this water into my ceiling to the point where it actually started to cave in. This was all the night before I had these extreme symptoms. And so I realized something. I was like, oh, what's actually going on here with you, Erin? I'm up-leveling, okay? And when I say up-leveling in a spiritual sense and energetic sense is when we make choices that create big shifts, the actual energy around our body expands. It gets bigger. Now, when this expands, there are these bonds, these energetic bonds of toxic energies that were holding us small, okay, holding us back, keeping us little, keeping us small. So when we apply our energy in a way that works for us instead of keeps these bonds in place, it breaks that, okay? It breaks the energetic bond, and then that's what frees up this energetic space. So that toxic energy, kind of think about spores in the air, it kind of gets released. Now, some of it's just immediately neutralized, but not all of it is. Now, the stuff that doesn't get neutralized is usually the parts of us where we identify who we are with that thing, right? So for me, my value, right? Like valuing my work at a certain price point and then making a jump, right? That released these toxic areas of energy where I was not valuing myself. Okay, so that broke apart. Or like self-doubt, right? We use self-doubt to keep ourselves small and keep ourselves from moving forward and choosing things we would actually like to choose. So the bonds of self-doubt were broken, the actual ties, the energetic ties to them. So all of this gets kind of released at once. And if you're not staying expanded enough, okay, if your container for these energies is not expanded enough, you can have sort of choke points in your body, okay? Think of like a pipe that gets clogged. So wherever those choke points are, those clogs are, you know, the water flushing through, or in this case, this energy moving through, it can't get through because it's too small, it's too narrow. So for me, there was an energetic, this was automatic. It wasn't something I did intentionally, but there was a contracting energy. Like I contracted down, right? Like a rubber band, right? Like I pulled out And then whoop, I went back down because I wasn't holding the vibration of the container. Okay. So for me, my choke points, right, my blockage points were my solar plexus, which is the third chakra, which is where your anatomical stomach is, right by the diaphragm. And then also the top of my head, which is the seventh chakra, which is our, divine connection. Okay. So those 2 points, I was not moving energy with ease. They were blocked off. I luckily was aware of what was happening though, even though it was very intense. And quite honestly, I can't remember. I can remember having the stomach issues and sort of this vertigo separately at times, but I've never had them quite together before like that. So it was incredibly intense, like to the point where were I not who I am, I might have ended up going to like urgent care because it was pretty alarming. But because I realized what was going on, I could start to work with those energies. So I started to use all of my tools. Okay, I have many, many different tools that I use, that I get my clients to use, and they're very effective. But on this particular day, none of them worked. One of my favorite ones is it's barriers down, expand energy out. And right, I just talked about this, like, oh, I'm contracting my energy, expand my energy out, then that should take care of it. That did help, but only a tiny bit. I was still rubber banding right back in. So I'm using these tools, nothing's working. So finally I just sort of like, I guess the best word would be I surrendered. I surrendered to this process of just going, okay, what is it that I need right now? Because clearly I don't know what that is. I keep trying to use these tools and they're not working for me. So I just instinctively, intuitively, I just went, okay, where do I want to be right now? Okay, I want to be on the floor. So I laid on my back on the floor. I put my legs up. My knees were over, so my calves and shins were over on my ottoman. And I just took some nice deep breaths and I closed my eyes. I had my baby with me, so I just put her on my belly and she was playing, which was really nice. And I just surrendered and I went, okay, guys, like body, powers that be, spiritual entourage, like energetic entourage, guides, ascended masters, like, what do I need right now? And I had put myself into enough of a receptive receiving mode that I almost instantly got an answer. And the answer was rainbows. One word, very clear as a bell. The answer was rainbows. So my analytical mind immediately kicked in and thought that that sounded ridiculous. I have vertigo and I feel like I'm going to throw up, and you want me to what? Look at rainbows? That's my medicine? Like, that's the tool of all the things that I know how to do. That's what I need right now. And I didn't really, like, even at this point, I kind of doubted myself a bit. So I went back and I asked Dan to check the energy. I got the exact same answer very quickly, rainbows. And it felt really light. Even though my analytical thinking mind was very confused by it, it felt very light to me. So because I've been doing this a long time, luckily, know that when I get such clarity and such lightness with an answer, and I'm receiving the answer versus thinking it, kind of like the difference between saying a word and hearing a word, there's a quality difference to the energy. And this is something that, can take a little bit of time to discern, but I know how to do that. So I trusted it. So I just hopped on Pinterest and I looked up rainbows. I just started scrolling rainbow after rainbow after rainbow. And I could tell immediately that it indeed was going to help me, because there was this relief that I felt in looking at the colors. When we look at colors, they're very healing. So if you know the chakra system, there's colors that are usually associated with the different chakras, and chakras are energy centers that go up the midline of the body, okay? And so by looking at a rainbow, I was actually balancing my chakras in a sense, because I was in such a receptive receiving mode. So as I'm doing this, and this took, I would say, probably definitely no more than 10 minutes before I felt, I kid you not, 90% better. 90%, okay? After 5 minutes or so of looking at rainbows. something that somebody else would have had to go to urgent care for. It took me 5 minutes of looking at rainbows to clear. I think the remaining 10% probably stayed for another, I don't know, like hour or two. And definitely by the end of the day, I was completely 100% back to normal. So later in the day, a little bit later, I talked to my mentor about what had happened, and she immediately sent me a picture of a rainbow dragon. And on this card of this rainbow dragon, this is from a rainbow dragon, or sorry, a dragon deck. It was the rainbow dragon card. It said at the bottom, the first thing it said was have trust. Okay. And I couldn't help but get this like big goofy smile on my face, because like that was an exact match. That was exactly what I needed in that moment, especially earlier in the day. I needed to simply come back to a state of trust. Trust that the choices that I was making were the right ones. Trust that, you know, even with my ceiling almost caving in, that was going to be worked out. Like that's going to work out. And I do want to point out, guys, for me, I don't know if it's the same for you, but whenever I up level my life, right, like I really expand, something with water usually happens to me, whether I've had my basement flood a few times, even though, and by the way, we fixed the issue, something else happens. And then like this time it was the ceiling in my bathroom for my neighbor. I've had my car leak water, like just water. It just finds me. Okay. And I'm hoping at some point not to have that happen anymore, because it's very costly and it's kind of stressing me out. But the point is to know and to trust that that's all working out. Everything's working out. And I could feel the truth of it. And I could almost like see in my mind's eye, like this dragon just like moving about, like around me, through my energy, and transmitting this rainbow, this frequency of light, right? Colors and light through my whole body. And through that process, dispelling, right, all the blockages, all the things keeping those physical symptoms in place in my body, right? Because our bodies hold on to energy. So the point here, guys, is I want to walk you through the 5 steps if you're freaking out like I was, to stop, okay, to get into the receptive receiving mode, and then to find out what's your medicine right now. Get out of conclusion, get back into the present moment so that you can receive what it is that you need right now, okay, right now in your life. Okay, so it's up to you. You guys can follow along right now if you're in a position that you can, just to help you walk through the process, or feel free to just listen and tuck it in your back pocket for another time. I did write a blog on this. So if you visit my website, crystalllakereiki.com, R-E-I-K-I, you can read my blog, and I'll for sure put the link in the description as well, so you can take a look there. But it's 5 simple steps. They're not hard at all. Step 1, get into a relaxed position. Isn't that nice? So simple. Just find a place that feels good to you. For me, like I said, it was laying flat on my back with my legs up, with my eyes closed. You can put your hands on your body. You can put your hands off your body, whatever feels good to you. I close my eyes. You can have them open or closed, and lay down, maybe flat, or you can sit up. You can be in Indian style, you know, crisscross applesauce, or you can have your knees up or your legs straight, whatever feels good to you, whatever feels comfy and relaxing. That's step 1. Step 2, take some nice, deep, slow breaths. Yes, it's literally this simple. What this does is it helps your body know that it's safe. Okay, taking the nice, deep, slow breaths, you engage the diaphragm. Okay, you allow your body to come into a parasympathetic nervous system response, which is rest, relax, digest. Okay, this is going to help you get into a receptive receiving mode. Then after you take those nice couple of deep breaths, however many it takes for you to further relax yourself and your body, you're going to shift your focus now. Part of the problem that we have too much time in our heads, okay? If you are an overthinker, you're spending way too much time in your head. Your energy actually spins around in your head instead of throughout your entire body. And that's why we have such a hard time, okay? So I want you to shift your focus into your first chakra, which is located at the base of your spine. Okay, so you think about the spine, and it kind of curves in at the bottom, boop, right there. That's your first chakra. So you're just going to focus on that place. And the reason we're doing this is because it's far from your head. Focus on a different point in your body, in this case, the first chakra, right? You are melting and moving the energy that is stuck, spinning in your head, down into your seat of knowing, down into the first chakra. Awesome. So once you're in this receptive receiving mode, and focusing on that seat of knowing is receptive receiving mode, you're relaxed, you're taking nice deep breaths. And I will say with the nice deep breaths, you don't need to labor, okay? They should still feel natural, just a little bit slower and a little bit deeper than normal. You're in this receptive receiving mode. You're shifting your focus to your first chakra at the base of the spine. Then staying in your first chakra, do not go right back up into your head, okay? I want you to ask. You're going to ask, what do I need right now? Right? Like, what's my medicine? What do I need right now? And then you wait. Wait is the fifth step. Like I said, these are incredibly simple, okay? Fourth step is ask, what do I need right now? And if you notice that you pop right back up into your head, and you'll know because you'll start to try to figure out the answer, right? Come back down into your first chakra, okay? And you'll know if you are staying in your first chakra because you will feel this sense of peace and calm, right? A sense of like just being a little bit more relaxed, even if you're still experiencing what you're experiencing, like I was still experiencing the stomach stuff and the head stuff. It was a little bit better for sure, laying down on the floor, taking some nice deep breaths and receiving mode, but it was still there, okay? But even with that, there was just this little bit extra space and ease that I had. And then, like I said, the fifth step is to wait. This is just like if you speak and then you wait for somebody on the other end to tell you the answer to something, that's how this feels. You're just waiting. Now, it might be a word. You might receive a word, right? The difference between thinking a thought and receiving a thought. Or it might not be a word at all. It might be an image. It might be a sensation in your body that reminds you of something. It might be a knowing. You just, boop, it's in there. You just know, right? It could be something that you're inspired to do. It could be an aha moment for you. Or you could get nothing at first. And if you receive nothing, that's totally fine. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It just might be something to come at some other point, okay? So if you do receive an answer right away, like I did, right? I got rainbows. And you doubt it, okay? The biggest hurdle usually for people when they're getting into the receptive receiving mode and are actually back in their body and connected is trusting what shows up for them, right? You're going to want to doubt it. You're going to want to think that like, no, it's not that or this, that, or the other. And so I encourage you to notice the quality of the energy of the answer. Like I had mentioned earlier, for me, rainbows, okay, even though it didn't make any sense to my logical thinking mind, to the rest of me, it felt light. It felt nice. It felt simple. It felt expansive. That's what you want to look for, is the quality of the energy of the answer. If it feels heavy or contracting, it's definitely hard. That's definitely not the answer. Okay, that's your ego trying to insert itself in this process again. So if that happens, just go right back, right? Go back, take a couple nice deep breaths, put your energy back in your first chakra, and then ask, right? And then wait again. Try not to get impatient with yourself or frustrated with this process. It can take a little bit of training to do. And for some people, it will come quite naturally. And for some people, it will take a little bit more. Neither is good or bad, right or wrong. Okay. You have to always honor and meet yourself where you're at. That's really important in this process. And this is a skill. Learning to receive, I believe, is a very integral skill to our happiness. So if you get the answer, you doubt the answer, you can do what I did, right? Just go back into the receiving mode and then ask again. And then if you get the same answer and it feels light and expansive, even if it doesn't make any sense, go do it. Go do the thing. And then you'll feel better and you'll have a better day, just like I did, okay? And then all of a sudden this opened up this cool conversation with my mentor about rainbow dragons, and I keep like feeling them in my world more. And last night I even had a dream of like a rainbow dragon came into my dream. So it's like really the receptivity of this beautiful energy from these otherworldly creatures. Like whether or not you believe that dragons actually exist, okay, that's irrelevant. This is an energy, okay? The energy of a rainbow dragon has an energetic signature, okay? So this is part of using, like tapping into your creative capacities, your imagination, and really letting that energy come in and move through you, okay? It's very healing. So I encourage you guys to do this. Please, see how it goes for you. Like, was it easy for you? Was it hard? I've already had people, because I have my blog up already, and I also have a podcast up about this, telling me what cool answers and really beautiful things that they have been receiving as they simple exercise. So this video, if you like it, share it if you think it'll help somebody else. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Thank you so much. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.